What if I told you that every night of your cruddy sleep is aging your brain and making you older than you actually are? A lack of sleep accelerates biological aging markers. It increases your risk for dementia and it makes you feel worse, feel older. Sleep isn't just about feeling rested. It's about what it's doing for your brain and your body. By the end of this video, you'll be able to assess your sleep, rule out some sleep-based disorders that might be really impacting you, and also use some science-based strategies to start reversing the damage that you might already have done. So let's get to it. So first of all, why is sleep a big deal? Yeah, everybody knows we should sleep enough and all that. But there's also the thing, I'll sleep when I'm dead, right? Well, sleep is an issue for lots of different reasons. Here's a quick list. Chronic sleep deprivation is linked to a reduction in brain volume. Your brain shrinks, especially in the prefrontal cortex and the hippocampus. And these are areas that are related to decision making and memory. Your poor sleep is impacting your glymphatic system. This is the system that lets you get rid of beta amyloid, which is a marker for Alzheimer's disease. Sleep deprivation is associated with shorter telomeres, and these are an indicator of aging. Quick side note, if you don't know what a telomere is, well, here you have your cells, right? Cells divide throughout our life to help us grow and develop and even heal our body. Inside each of our cells is a chromosome that is like the instruction book on how your cell is supposed to run. And at the end of each chromosome is a little thing called a telomere. It's like a little protective tip that lets it keep dividing appropriately. Over time, your telomeres wear down, so you can't keep dividing your cells, and therefore we age. But when your telomeres get really short, yes, you're not only aging, you're also at risk for things like dementia and other chronic diseases. Some things that we do to ourselves, like experience chronic stress or don't manage it well, or sleep poorly, can make our telomeres shorter faster. And when we do something about our sleep, we can keep our telomeres longer for a longer period of time, and we might even be able to activate telomerase, which is an enzyme that could maintain or enhance our telomeres. Your bad sleep increases C-reactive protein and cortisol. These are all linked to heart disease, another issue with aging. When you don't sleep very well, your balance can be worse and you're a fall risk. Bad sleep impairs your coordination and your proprioception. That's the whole idea that your body knows where it is in space without having to look. So if your eyes are closed, you can actually touch your nose rather than hitting your face somewhere else, or you can walk around without staring at your feet. There's a metabolic piece. When you don't sleep, it increases your insulin resistance and weight gain happens. It impacts emotional functioning. It impacts your energy. So many issues when you're not sleeping well. So now we've covered the idea that they're not kidding when they say sleep is really important. What do? Step number 1, you have to track it. I was a queen of pretending like my sleep was probably fine. And I'd kind of estimate, if I go to bed around 10 and I get up around 6, that's a good 8 hours of sleep. I'm great. Well, come to find out, when I actually started tracking it and using something to make sure I wasn't fudging around the edges, I was not giving my body nearly that much time even to have a chance to sleep. I wasn't actually even going to bed at 10, but if I did, I wasn't falling asleep at 10. And was I really getting up at 6, or was I disrupted before 6, or did I wake up before 6, or, the list goes on and on. Long story short, I was not giving my body an opportunity to sleep enough, and I definitely wasn't getting the overall sleep I thought. You have to track it. The low effort way, try to keep a sleep diary. I went to bed here. I think it took me about this long to fall asleep. I think I woke up around here. Here I'm rating the quality of my sleep. 0 is the worst it's ever been. 10 is the best it's ever been. Okay, you can do that. That's cheap and easy. But if you want to use technology and make it even easier, there's so many options out there. I love my Aura ring. It's little, it's easy, I don't even know I'm wearing it, and it tracks a lot of different things, like how much deep sleep I get, how much REM sleep I get, my heart rate variability, and so on. It puts it all in one easy little package. But there's other things, like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch or other programs that are out there. So check them out, see if you're interested in those. There's even free apps, things like Sleep Cycle, Sleep Score, or even your phone's bedtime tracking. You could use something like that. Point of the matter is, if you don't start paying attention, you're going to probably convince yourself that you're doing better than you are. And it's a real shame. Step number 2, you should try to rule out any sleep disorders. Because no matter how often or how much we try to behaviorally change our way out of a sleep disorder, it's not going to happen. Here's some signs or indicators or risk factors that tell you, gosh, maybe you have a sleep disorder. Things like if you snore, if you gasp, if you choke at night. That could indicate sleep apnea. If your partner or somebody else tells you, yeah, you're pretty loud. There's a quick and easy way that doctors often use to also check for sleep apnea. They measure the circumference of your neck. So you can take one of those flexible tape measures or even just a piece of string and you put it around your neck, around your Adam's apple. You don't want it to be too tight, but kind of resting comfortably. And if your neck is thicker, it can indicate there's more soft tissue, which can then kind of squish the airway and increase the chances of you having sleep apnea. For men, if your neck circumference is more than 17 inches or 43 centimeters, it's linked to higher risk. And for women, if your neck is more than 16 inches or 41 centimeters, there's a higher risk for the idea that you might have sleep apnea. But even then, I had a very healthy 45-year-old, not overweight, no medical issue person come in and go, little did she know, she found out last week she has severe sleep apnea. She didn't have any clues. There's also the feeling like your legs are restless or tingling or uncomfortable at night. This could be restless leg syndrome. This could be the restless leg syndrome. Try saying that 5 times fast. Restless leg syndrome, restless leg syndrome. God. If you are really sleepy during the daytime, if you fall into like a micro sleep, so you have a hard time staying awake, this could be narcolepsy, or it could be a big sleep debt, where you just haven't had enough sleep for so long, your body simply just can't stay awake. If you wake up a lot at night, this could be something like insomnia, or anxiety, or even hormone-related sleep issues. So if you've looked at those risk factors and go, I don't know, maybe I do have a sleep disorder. I've always been kind of ignoring it. Well, the first step would be to talk to your doctor about it. You can do an overnight oximetry test at home, a home sleep study, where they put something on your finger and they measure your blood oxygen overnight. Yes, sometimes that you can get those from your smart devices, but they're not always as accurate. You can also do an in the hospital sleep study, which is the most accurate information. So you're really understanding what factors are impacting your sleep and how does your body act during sleep. Really helpful to know. If you want to use a self-screening tool for things like sleep apnea or insomnia, there's also some useful ones online. There's one called the Stop Bang questionnaire for sleep apnea, and each letter corresponds to a different letter of, it's like an acronym, so it's, are you snoring is the S and so on. I'm going to put a link for that below so you can take that quiz if you want to take that. And then there's also the Insomnia Severity Index, which is also a little quiz that you can add up, and it'll tell you how severe your insomnia would be rated to see if it's something that's really bothersome for you and might be indicating a problem. All right, so say that we've ruled out a sleep disorder. Woohoo, don't have to deal with that. Or you had a sleep disorder and you're fixing it. Excellent work. Now we're going to go around to the things that you either do or don't do that impact your sleep, your behaviors, because so much of our sleep difficulties are usually related to what we are doing or not doing. So there's a whole line of research and intervention called CBT-I, Cognitive Behavioral Therapy for Insomnia, not just insomnia, but for all types of sleep disorders. There are professionals that can help you with CBT-I. You can work with them directly and they will put you through your paces of figuring it all out. But there's also other resources. Today I'm going to talk about a few of the ideas from CBT-I and you can try them out yourself. First, let's think about how we can change how we think about our sleep. Instead of, oh my gosh, I have to get 8 hours, I'm going to stress out about it, we can think about, well, how can I have a consistent go to bed time and a consistent wake up time? When we start implementing those things, one night of bad sleep isn't going to ruin our life, but if we're doing this every night, a chronic sleep debt will have an impact. So instead of stressing out over, oh no, I'm not sleeping enough, oh no, this is a real problem, we can start changing our attitude about sleep. We also want to control the stimulus of our sleep. We are very much like animals in this manner. Our bodies and our brains get used to the idea that certain settings or certain experiences are related to certain outcomes or what we do, our behaviors. So for example, if you are having a problem with your sleep, your bed should be used for sleep and sex, nothing else. You shouldn't be eating in bed or watching TV in bed or enjoying your favorite book in bed or having all these wonderful pillow conversations with your partner. None of that. When you get into the bed, we're trying to train our bodies. Bed is for sleep, nothing else. That means if you're in bed in the middle of the night and you're not sleeping for more than 15 or 20 minutes, they recommend that you get out of bed. Once you get out of bed, you're not cleaning the house or being productive or doing amazing things. You're doing the most boring, tiring, low-lit, not exposing yourself to bright lights, boring, do nothing kind of thing until you're sleepy enough to try to get back in bed and see if you can fall asleep. Bed is only for sleep. There's sleep restriction therapy. So even when you're not sleeping, you're still getting up, and so you're reducing the amount of time that you're actually getting sleeping. Now, that might seem counterintuitive, but I want to sleep more. But what we're doing is training our body. Hey, we get to sleep within a certain window. We're not sleeping all day or taking all these long naps and so on. We're trying to get it to sleep at the right time. We might need to think about our circadian rhythm and trying to optimize it. With that in mind, we want some morning sunlight. Within the first 10 or 20 minutes out of that hour after we've gotten out of bed, we want to try to be exposed to light. Now in rainy winter Oregon, that can be a bit of a challenge, but there's also light boxes we can use for that. At the end of the day, we're trying to limit bright lights, and this includes screens. Let's think about the last hour before bed. We're not being exposed to anything that's really going to be bright and going to trick our system into thinking it is morning time. We can also try to have a routine. There needs to be something that signals to our body we are relaxing and we are winding down. So maybe an hour or so before bedtime, again, this whole light idea, we're dimming the lights and we get into a routine or a habit of what we do before we go to bed. This might be the whole brushing our teeth and washing our face, or it might be sitting quietly and reading a book, or it might be even taking a bath. Any of those things could be useful. And warm baths actually trigger our bodies to cool, and that leads to faster sleep onset. Little tip there. So our takeaways for today. Bad sleep leads to feeling older. What do we got to do? Track your sleep, rule out sleep disorders, and start changing our behaviors to promote better sleep. Now, if you've tried all of this and you're like, oh God, I still can't get my sleep to be okay, or I don't know what I'm doing, I'm making a community for us, for all of us that struggle with our sleep or our exercise or our eating right or our using our brain or all the things that we're supposed to be doing that help us age functionally better. So be on the lookout for that. I'll be putting a link in the description below for that. If you want kind of the fastest scoop on it, I'm sharing it with the people in my newsletter community first. So you can sign up for my newsletter. It's free. It comes out every Sunday. And I'm also developing a functional age quiz. So you can take the quiz based on what you do in your life, and it will tell you how you score and where you might be able to improve. So that link is coming below too. Check it out. Can't wait to see you in all of these new adventures, because I really do think it's going to be awesome to improve our functional age and do it together.